Hey, it's Chad Tomaszewski with TSI Today. Today we're going to dive into what's driving the digital transformation. Come along for the ride with me and Indy Kar from FTP Solutions. Stay tuned to hear more. Hey everybody, I'm here today with Indy Kar from FTP Solutions. Indy, I'm in a really unique position. I've started this video podcast of sorts to really shine a light on the cool technologies that we get to play with inside of our industry. And I get to sit across from peers and people that I've admired that have had great careers like yourself so far. And I get to talk to you about some of the technologies that you've got to play with inside of your career. So why don't we just start with a little bit of an introduction of who's Indy? And you and I met many moons ago when you were playing at Suncor. Great place to get your feet wet for sure. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing today and who you're playing ball with.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on, Chad. I really appreciate this. I think this is it's good having these type of conversations. And for myself, working as the Vice President of Strategic Growth at FTP Solutions, we have some really enabling technology where we're looking at really the operational performance of customers as they deploy wireless technologies in the field, and really focusing initially here in mining as we're getting into other verticals as well. But coming back to your point and seeing so many different technologies in this space, at its core we see so many different operational use cases and applications for wireless technologies, and really that core investment in foundational technology has enabled many operators to use cool techs like autonomous haulage or health monitoring, fleet management, many things that you'll see that help really optimize productivity and also enable higher safety performance as you start using some of these technologies in the field.
Well, safety is paramount in a lot of things that we do. Certainly with my organization, we put safety first, and it's always good to see that FTP is certainly doing that and helping our clients as an end goal do that. If you were to weight where the safety component is versus the actual technology, is it the technology driving it and the safety is part of it, or was it the safety that actually drove the technology where we're at today?
Oh, I think in really all cases it's around what are the business drivers for safety. And really, when you think about technology, it's really a tool to help enable what you're trying to accomplish as a business. So, whether you're trying to pull tons and pull dirt out in the field in a mine, it all comes down to how do you do it safely. And really, technology should be implemented to help you do it more safely. So really, when you think about the core architecture, how do you do product development, what do you do? It should all be focused around that core tenet of safety, environmental performance, and as well productivity.
So let's put a scenario out there. Let's say there's a new mine, potash mine, open pit in Saskatchewan. What would the advice be that you would give the people running that particular mine today to make sure that they've adapted the right technology? What advice would you reach out to them with?
Yeah, and I think if we're talking about sort of a greenfield investment, I mean it's really around what is sort of the balance of productivity that you're getting, what is kind of the total cost and life of mine that you are considering, and then understanding the technology investment that's required to help enable some of the business drivers. And if you think about it, there's many levels of technology investment that you can do. In this, in an operations, if it's a potash mine as an example, I mean, if you may consider and you may want to start off in an operations that's conventional in staffed operations using traditional business processes and using technology to actually do optimization and fleet management and actually just look and learn from your productivity. Or you may want to actually start with full autonomy and remote operations, and that might then require a different level of technology investment. It's around staging and understanding sort of the relevant technology roadmap and kind of understanding your enterprise architecture and how it fits with your business plan.
Cool. So I mean, not a lot of green builds coming out these days. They're few and far between. So we're really part of driving, and I use that candidly with you because of the industry that you're in. Driving this digital transformation of sorts. We're seeing trucks that are so enormous that if you've not seen them in person in your life, you just can't fathom it. We're talking 14-foot high tires, 16-foot extension ladder get inside of it, and your tech is allowing those vehicles to get from A to B on a plant site without a body inside.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about autonomous mining, it's funny. I mentioned this earlier. It was a technology originally operationalized and commercially available back in 2008. One of the first mines in the world was actually in Chile, in the Gabi mine, which it was really interesting to kind of see how that's evolved. A lot of technology development was done in Australia as well as the US. But as you've seen over time and as we've seen in North America, one of the first operators, Suncor, who I previously worked with, brought the technology in and trialed it, compared the predominant OEMs that were available, which is Caterpillar and Komatsu, to really evaluate what would be a fit for use case in oil sands. And I think coming back to how our technology sort of fits into that plane. I mean, we have software that really monitors the real-time communications performance of the wireless network, and we integrate with these autonomous applications. So it allows you to do root cause analysis if there's an issue that's happening on the wireless network, if there's an issue on the haul truck itself, or could it be a business process issue? Like, for example, if a maintenance event was occurring and they didn't properly shut down the system, that can actually impact the performance of the entire autonomous system because they won't understand why that piece of equipment lost connectivity. So it's something simple like that with training you can resolve, that we still see commonly a problem with autonomous operations today.
So where are we taking all that data then? What are we going to do with that data? Obviously, it's going into some sort of data analytic, that you're aggregating the information you want out of it to create performance or create efficiency inside of a plant. What other things can we do with that data?
Well, I think it's around, especially when you look as we go down into the future, we've seen operators taking sort of the information around technology performance, correlating it with productivity, and trying to create operational dashboards and driving sort of the incremental change on shift to improve productivity based on the performance factors of the technology itself. Previously, I mean, you would be able to, if your technology itself, you weren't relying your production on the performance of the network. So if you're running a conventional staffed operations in mining, there's business processes and procedures that can bypass if the technology fails. Now, once you suddenly go to a full autonomous mine, if there's any technology issue, that's a direct bottom line impact in terms of performance. So all of this information and correlating the data that we collect and comparing it against productivity is really important to help drive continuous improvement.
All that information, it's unbelievable how much more has come into today's mining sector compared to even 2 years ago, not to mention 10 or 20 years ago. I think there's a big mindset shift that we're seeing, and part of the reason why I think they call it the digital transformation of this business. One of the things that I like to ask all my guests, and I'd like your insight on this, Indy, is unfortunately somehow you and I have become the old guys in this business.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of really cool young people that are looking for something to task themselves for a career. How do you foresee our industry, tech as a whole, enticing young people to get inside of it? How do we bring them in?
Well, I mean, one of the critical capacity or capabilities that are needed is software development, electrical engineering as well, to understand whether it's embedded hardware design, or actually communications technology, which requires a lot of embedded hardware and software development and firmware development. So how do we entice people to get into it? Because we have seen, the competitiveness to try to attract talent in the field. We see a lot of interest in the technology field, but it's also around relating to how do you actually enable operations, and why and how is the technology being used? common use cases around, let's say, teleoperations in construction and mining, where you're actually able to operate or remotely operate heavy machinery actually in an office space. So some of this technology that we design and implement can help enable it. And there's, funny enough, the skill set required to remotely operate this machinery is very similar to being able to play video games really well. So sometimes you can relate to sort of that kind of day-to-day, what are you doing in life as a kid anyways, but then show how this technology enables it and how you can be involved in implementing that technology and learning how it works.
Well, I think I have an almost 11-year-old going on 30-year-old that would be fit right into this, no problem at all. Listen, Indy, I think you and I could sit here and chat all day. I'd love to have you back for another episode, and we can dive in a little bit more on some more specific technologies that FTP is driving and that you're part of. What a great career you've had. Thank you so much for being my guest today. If our viewers want to know how to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, thanks again for your time. I really do appreciate it, Chad, for having me on. Our website is www.ftpsolutions.com, and there is a contact us link. Please feel free to contact us, call our office, or send us an email. We're obviously very interested in if anybody would like to understand or learn more about FTP and how we help enable businesses.
Always a pleasure, Indy.
Thanks
so
again.
much. We'll talk soon.
Bye-bye.